Welcome to today's lecture. Today we are going to learn lung volume testing. Today we are going to discuss methods for measuring the lung volumes, principle of nitrogen washout method, principle of helium dilution technique, causes of abnormal lung volume. Introduction. Measuring lung volumes helps characterize certain disease states. These volumes are termed the static lung volumes. Measuring lung volumes helps in diagnosing respiratory diseases like restrictive lung disease, obstructive lung disease, and in obstructive lung disease, hyperinflation and gas trapping. What are static lung volumes? In spirometry, we measure dynamic lung volumes. Their subject has to do forceful inspiration and expiration maximally within a specific time. But in static lung volume, airflow velocity has no role, and here subject breathes normally at tidal volume. The static lung volumes are total lung capacity, residual volume, functional residual capacity, and the ratio of residual volume and total lung capacity. Next, FRC. FRC is the only lung volume that can be repeatedly and reliably measured. What is FRC? FRC means the volume of air contained in the lung at the end of tidal expiration. Methods for measuring the lung volumes. Here we have body plethysmography called body box, nitrogen washout method, helium dilution technique, chest radiograph measurements. And what are the indications for lung volume testing? Indications are diagnosis of restrictive lung disease and distinguish between restrictive and obstructive lung disease, and evaluation of airway resistance, hyperinflation and gas trapping. And measurement of total lung capacity may be helpful when the vital capacity is reduced. For example, in the setting of COPD with low vital capacity, measurement of total lung capacity can help to determine if there is a superimposed restrictive disease. Next, body plethysmography. The body plethysmography is the gold standard for the measurement of total lung capacity, particularly in the settings of significant airflow obstruction. The principle of body plethysmography depends on Boyle's law, and this is the most accurate and widely used technique. The FRC in body plethysmography is referred to as the thoracic gas volume. Technique of body plethysmography. The most common measurements made using body plethysmography are thoracic gas volume and airflow resistance. Here subject should breathe normally at a tidal volume. After 3 to 4 tidal breaths at the end of the last tidal expiration, subject is instructed to pant fast against the closed valve, where the plethysmograph measures functional residual capacity. Then subject has to take full inspiration, then deep slow expiration for at least 6 seconds. Here SVC is used instead of FVC. Next, nitrogen washout method. This is less accurate and more time consuming. Normally takes less than 7 minutes to complete the test. But in obstructive disorders, more than 20 minutes is needed to wash out nitrogen. It underestimates functional residual capacity in obstructive disorders, and the principle of nitrogen washout method is the concentration of nitrogen in the lung which can be washed out to determine the volume with 100% oxygen. Technique of nitrogen washout method. At the end of the normal expiration, the subject will breathe into a closed system. Then subject will inhale 100% of oxygen and exhale into a separate container with a known volume. Continue this process until almost all the nitrogen in the lung is exhaled into the container. The nitrogen concentration in the container is then determined. Let me explain nitrogen washout method. In this image we can see this is the container having 100% oxygen, and this is the container for collecting exhaled gas, and here we have one-way valve, so there is no mixing of gases occurs. Here subject, this is the subject. Here the subject breathes normally at a tidal volume. Here subject inhales 100% oxygen and exhales into the separate container. When subject inhales and exhales, the nitrogen is washed out of the lung progressively and monitored with continuous analysis at the mouthpiece. When exhaled nitrogen concentration falls below 2%, the test is terminated. And the concentration of nitrogen collected in the container is measured. Here C1 is the nitrogen concentration in the lung is normally 80%, and V1 is functional residual capacity, this is unknown, and C2 the nitrogen concentration in the collected container, and V2 the volume of the collecting container. And here we have a equation, product of C1 and V1 is equal to the product of C2 V2. Here we know C1 and V1 we don't know, and we know C2 we have calculated after the test, and V2 is known. Then by this equation we can calculate the V1 means FRC. Next, helium dilution technique. Here the subject breathes normally at tidal volume. At the end of normal expiration, the subject will breathe into the closed system with a known volume V1 and concentration C1 of a inert gas, helium. Inert gas means the gas that doesn't undergo chemical reaction in a given condition. Next, the patient will continue breathing the helium until the equilibrium is achieved and measured by helium analyzer C2, and V2 will be the sum of the original volume of the helium and the initial lung volume. Let me explain principle of helium dilution technique. Here we have a subject, this is the container having helium mixture, and this is the analyzer, helium analyzer. Here subject breathes normally at a tidal volume, and subject breathes into a closed system continuously until helium equilibrium is achieved. The concentration of helium in the lung and the container becomes equal. When the equilibrium is achieved, the test is terminated, and the lung volume diluting the helium mixture in the container is the FRC. Here C1 is concentration of helium in the container, and V1 volume of the container, and C2 is the concentration of the helium at the end of the test, and V2 is the sum of V1 and FRC. Here in this equation we know C1, V1 and C2, then we can calculate FRC. Next, radiographic method for measuring lung volume. The total lung capacity and residual volume are estimated by doing posterior anterior view and lateral chest radiograph during full inspiration and full expiration. HRCT is more accurate than plain radiograph in determining total lung capacity, but they are more costly. Radiographic method not routinely used due to unnecessary exposure to radiation. And radiographic method yields lower total lung capacity by more than 10% compared with the plethysmography. Next, comparison between the common methods for measuring the lung volumes. Here we are doing comparison between body plethysmography and nitrogen washout or helium dilution method. Body plethysmography is fast. Here test is completed within a minute, but in nitrogen washout and helium dilution it normally takes 7 minutes, but in obstructive diseases it takes more than 7 minutes. And in body plethysmography it is readily repeatable for reproducibility. In nitrogen washout and helium dilution it is difficult to repeat because the test is too long and more time required for lung to equilibrate and to clear inert gas in the dilution technique. And body plethysmography is more accurate, and here nitrogen washout and helium dilution is less accurate. And body plethysmography slightly overestimate FRC in obstructive disorders. Here it underestimates FRC in obstructive disorders. Body plethysmography difficult to test patients on wheelchairs or stretchers. In case of nitrogen washout helium dilution, possible to test patients on wheelchairs and stretchers. Body plethysmography is expensive, large size and complex, but in nitrogen washout and helium dilution method, this is cheap and small. Causes of abnormal lung volume. What are the causes of increased total lung capacity? Here we have emphysema and bronchial asthma. Total lung capacity is normal in bronchial asthma, but residual capacity is increased in bronchial asthma because of air trapping. What are the causes of decreased lung volume? Restrictive disorders like parenchymal diseases, example interstitial lung disease like pulmonary fibrosis, and pleural diseases like pleural fibrosis, pleural tumor, pleural effusion, and pneumothorax. And other restrictive diseases are chest wall diseases. In chest wall diseases, we have musculoskeletal disorders like severe kyphoscoliosis, and neuromuscular disorders like muscular dystrophy, paralyzed diaphragm, and amyotrophic lateral sclerosis. And loss of air spaces due to lobectomy, pneumonectomy, and due to atelectasis, tumors, and pulmonary edema. And the reference for this lecture, pulmonary function test in clinical practice by Altalag. Thank you.